Hello folks, we're here at one of my favourite places to be, the Auto Express website. I'm going to link to this article in the video description so you can go and check it out for yourself, and I can heartily recommend Auto Express to anyone. Now, I haven't seen this list yet, so it's the 10 fastest depreciating cars in the UK, so the cars that lose most value most quickly. It should be noted that the value they almost always use in these videos would be the part exchange value. So don't think because you see a car on here for 8 grand, you can go and buy one for 8 grand. That's probably all it's worth to you if you've bought it, okay? But if you want to go and part exchange it or take it to We Buy Any Car or anything like that, you're likely to get the price or round about it that they're showing in this video. Now, all these prices are based on a 3-year-old car with 36,000 miles on the clock, all right? So just an important thing to note. I can already guess by some of the pictures they use in here. Often in these videos, big, expensive cars do really badly, particularly huge, like chauffeur type cars. And then really cheap cars sometimes do badly as well, which is weird. And there's sometimes the odd random one thrown in. So let's get on with this. And then afterwards, I'm going to look at the best cars for depreciation. So the ones that hold their value the best. Right, so we are going to start with number 1, the Mercedes Maybach GLS. Not a massive surprise. It's kind of a niche within a niche within a niche. 170 grand for one of those bad boys, and it retains just 30% of its value after 3 years, which is mental. After 3 years with 36,000 miles on the clock, it's evidently worth just shy of 52 grand. How would you feel about losing 112 grand on a car within 3 years? I guess if you can afford one of those, maybe it's not an issue. It's a lot of money though, isn't it? Number 2 is the Fiat Tipo. Wow, 35.6% of its value is retained after 3 years. 21.5 is the average new price. Average retained value, 7,725. It's an odd one really, because they're not that desirable, are they? But it's a decent enough little car, the Tipo. It's not particularly refined. It's not particularly special, but it's not a bad car really. For that kind of money. Number 3 is the Lexus LS. So right up there at the top of the Lexus range in terms of their big sort of exec saloons. 36% of the value after 3 years. 107,785 is the average new price. Average retained value is 39,162. Now, these big Lexus cars are packed with technology. They're incredibly comfortable, really luxurious, famed for their reliability. And it's surprising it loses quite so much. I know it's a kind of prestige car, and how many people really want a car of that size and style for their daily run around, but you've got to think it might be a bit of a used bargain. Number 4 is the DS9, which again fits into that same category. I haven't driven one of these, but from what I've seen of them, they're wonderful things. They're great cars that are really quite surprising. 21 grand after 3 years compared to 57,950 new. 36.85% of its value is retained. Maserati Quattroporte at number 5. You always get Maseratis on this list. Obviously, they're not known for their reliability. The Quattroporte is possibly not the most attractive one they've released. 37% of its value after 3 years, drops from 121.5 grand down to 45 grand. Number 6 is the Genesis G80. No! Right, so I spent some time with one of these in the summer and I thought it was a brilliant thing. The diesel engine's not well suited to it. It's a bit unrefined, and the car otherwise is extremely refined. It's got a level of refinement that I think is possibly a cut above Audi and BMW and even Mercedes. It is a lovely thing, but the diesel engine doesn't suit it. The 2.5 litre petrol's really good. It feels like a 6-cylinder, but it's only a 4. But it's not very frugal. So there are a few compromises with the G80, and I guess it's still that brand recognition thing for Genesis. A lot of people know about them now that didn't know about them sort of 6 months ago. So be interesting to see how that develops. I think they'll hold their value a lot better once the brand becomes a little bit more established, but brilliant car. 49,362 that starts off at, retains just 38.26%, and it gives you a trade-in value after 3 years of 18,866. Whew. Number 7 is the Audi A8. It falls in the same camp as that Lexus. Wonderful, comfortable thing. 39% after 3 years. Starts off just under 91 grand, drops to 35.5 grand. Number 8 is the Peugeot 508. I'm really surprised by this. This was the first French car in about ever that I actually looked at and thought, I wouldn't mind one of those. That's nice. 40% of its value after 3 years, 39,486 it starts off at, and after 3 years, just over 16 grand. This is like a list of cars that I really love. I mean, I must admit, I do like big exec saloons, but the Maserati 𝙇𝙗𝙆, I absolutely adore the 𝙇𝙗𝙆, despite the fact that it's going to break down and cost you a lot of money. It's a beautiful car, like lovely, lovely looking car that's far better looking than anything the Germans have made. At 41% retained value after 3 years, starts off at 89 grand, ends up at 36.5. I'm pretty shocked by this one as well, the Suzuki S-Cross. Very capable car, and Suzuki's reliability record is sort of on a par, really, with Toyota. Certainly not far off. It's that sort of Toyota Honda thing. You know, most Suzukis have a really good track record for reliability. Not 100% of them, but most. And do you know what? It's a car that really ticks a lot of boxes, that one, the S-Cross. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but neither are its Japanese rivals, really. So, really surprised by that. 28.5 grand it starts off at, 12 grand it is after 3 years, so only retains 42% of its value. Right, this list goes on a bit further. Number 11, Fiat 500. Number 12, Audi A5 Coupe. I'm really surprised by that. Volvo V90 at 13. This is mental. Genesis G70 shooting brake. Brilliant car. Ford Focus. I'm not surprised by that Focus, because they're just too expensive new. 31 grand for a Focus. It's a lot of money, isn't it? SsangYong Corrado eMotion. Number 17, Fiat Panda. 18, Fiat 500X. 19, Mercedes-Benz C-Class Coupe or Cabriolet. Bit surprised by that. Number 20, 8 Series BMW. Not too surprised by that. Right, let's check out the slowest depreciating cars, the ones that retain most of their value for longest, just after this. Folks, if you're currently considering buying a used car, please check out my guide, Buying a Used Car in the UK. As you can see, it's available here on Amazon in both paperback form, which, unlike me, is not very thick. It's nice and concise, got everything covered in here. We talk you through all the jargon that's used, talk about different finance options and how they work, talk about buying a Cat S or a Cat N car. We've got a test drive checklist, all the things you need to look out for on a test drive, things to inspect with the car and the documentation, everything you might possibly need to avoid buying a pup. Please check it out. $6.99 for the paperback, $3.95 for the Kindle book, or if you'd like it for free, do the free trial of Kindle Unlimited and you can read it on your Kindle for free. There's a link in the video description and pinned as a top comment, so go and check it out. Thanks. So onto the slowest depreciating cars. Again, I haven't looked at this. All the same rules apply. Number 1, the Land Rover Defender. So retains nearly 75% of its value after 3 years. That's bonkers. 75,874 is the new price. 56,710 after 3 years. Porsche Macan, 70%, so it starts at 60, ends up at 42. Number 3, the VW Multivan, not at all surprised by this. Very, very desirable vehicle. People love VW vans. I haven't always been entirely sure why, but this one is quite a nice thing and supremely practical and flexible as well. 70% of its value after 3 years, 52,000 it starts off at, ends up at 36.5. Number 4 is the VW ID Buzz. A little bit surprised by that, just for one reason. That's because they feel too expensive to start off with. It's 60 grand for one of those, and it's 40 after 3 years, so it retains 70% of its value. Having said that, it's probably the most desirable thing VW have released in many a moon, so I shouldn't be too surprised, really. Number 5 is the Range Rover Evoque. Despite the fact that they never ever perform well in reliability surveys, it retains pretty much 70% of its value after 3 years, 47 grand down to 33. Number 6, Porsche Cayenne, 69.5% of its value, 86,000 down to 59,000. Number 7, the Porsche Taycan, 69% of its value after 3 years, just over 100 grand down to 69,817. Number 8's the Lotus Emira. That's 67.5% of its value after 3 years, so 78 grand down to 52,700. Number 9, the Porsche 911. So loads of these are fairly sought after sports cars, aren't they? Lots of Porsche as well, which are always difficult to get hold of, and never more so in recent times. 67.5% on the 911. New price 131 grand by the shout in. Used price after 3 years 88. The MG4 at number 10. I've just reviewed one of these and I was unimpressed by its real world range compared to its claimed range, but pretty much impressed in every other way. 66.5%, 28.5 grand new, 19 grand after 3 years, although of course that's only a predicted value because none of them are 3 years old yet. So the rest of the list, Discovery Sport, Alpine A10, Porsche 718 Cayman, Land Rover Discovery, Morgan Plus 6, Mini Electric, Porsche 718 Boxster, Range Rover, Porsche Panamera, Morgan Plus 4, BMW iX and Toyota GR86. So hopefully these things really focus your mind on the total cost of ownership with a car, whether it's new or used. Just look at the price you're paying for it, and then how long you're going to keep the car. Are you someone that changes your car every 2 years, every 3 years, every 4 years? And then look at realistically what you're going to get for it when it becomes that old. And don't look at main dealer prices, folks, because you're never going to get that as a private seller. Something like We Buy Any Car, or look at private ads and things, and you're going to have a much more realistic idea of what your car's really worth. Thanks ever so much for watching, folks. Please give the video a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as once again, both these articles are from Auto Express, so go and check that out. See you next time.